We're going live, but I'm going to introduce you now.
We're live.
Live. I'm here with Miss Kelly. Kelly!
Hello.
Hey, everybody. I'm Liz Dawn, and I'm here with Kelly Stokes Brown. And all you have is your first name there. It's just Kelly.
Oh.
And if you pop in, do us a favor, because we're live in about 8 different places. Do me a favor and just let me know that you can hear us okay. Say hi to us. Welcome, Kelly. This is her first time ever doing a Facebook Live with us. So I'm super excited.
It's going to be fun. This is my first Facebook Live ever.
No.
Yes.
Kelly.
Yes.
I'm so shocked.
I know.
You coached me through so much of like content and inspiration, and you've even done like example videos for me.
And now I get to be on the other side and I really understand all the feelings you had when you were doing them.
Exactly. Oh, Kathy Stewart, thank you. Hi, Kathy Stewart. Happy New Year, everybody. I'm going to explain to you who Kelly is, my definition of Kelly, and then Kelly's going to explain who she is in her definition of Kelly. So Kelly is the marketing manifesting queen extraordinaire. And I mean that in every sense of every single word there. The marketing manifesting queen extraordinaire. And Kelly is a marketing guru, mainly for all things spiritual. She is a phenomenal copywriter, and I'm thinking an author in her own right as soon as she is ready to write that book.
Wow, you're nailing it.
And Kelly is like the creativity. If you see us ever do anything creative, just whisper to yourself, oh, that must have been Kelly. Yeah. So welcome, Kelly, a virgin Facebook Liver. Welcome.
Oh, thank you. That was such a sweet introduction, but really.
It's true. Share a little bit about your background with everyone.
Well, I started working, I went back to work after I got divorced, and I found a job working for John Assaraf. He was one of the writers in The Secret, and he had actually hired me to do customer service. A friend of mine worked there. She introduced us, and I was onboarded as customer service rep. He found out I could write and then asked me to write stories about his clients. This is the success that they were having with his program. So I started in that way, writing that way. I'd always been a writer, but this was more for work, professional writing. He offered me great opportunities to grow and to learn more about business, and particularly copywriting and marketing. And I just loved it. I fell in love with it instantly. And then from there, I ended up working for Hay House Publishing for several years as their senior marketing copywriter. I entered as like an assistant, but then just grew into a role because they trusted me and allowed me to really write and connect with their audiences. And I loved it. I had a great time, and again, was afforded a lot of opportunities and a lot of room for growth. And then I branched out on my own and started my own business, and loving that and meeting amazing people and just really enjoying the copywriting and the marketing strategy and playing with creativity and learning about people and what really keeps them, maybe blocked in their businesses and trying to help them push through those boundaries for sure.
Well, and what I love is that, I've been doing this for 25 years, right? But when you came in, when you looked at all the stuff with Celebrate Your Life, you had this perspective that I was like, how come I didn't see that? And that's what I love about your work, is that you come in and you've got a fresh new perspective. You've shared so much with like the potential of where we could go, of what we're doing, the language. I mean, it's not just like, let's say you have a flower pot sitting on your desk, right? The flower pot sits on your desk. Kelly would write something so elegant about that and descriptive about that. He'd be like, oh my God, I want that flower pot. I mean, it's something as simple as that. You're a poetess.
Oh,
It reminds me of the way Maya Angelou or Elizabeth Gilbert express themselves. If you've ever, and I know you've read both of them, they just have a way with expression. And if any of you have ever received any of our Celebrate Your Life workbooks, well, that's Kelly.
And you know what's funny about what you're saying, and I'm glad that you're bringing this up, because I think it's so much easier when you're on the outside and seeing someone's business and hearing about their dreams and their goals and really what makes their heart, sing. It's easy to see them in a different light and in this like fuller light, where like when I look at my own business, I have the same limitations. It's hard for me I know my vision, but it's hard for me to realize it, if that makes sense, like in a real way. So I totally get that feeling for sure. And I love that about the work that I do, really listening beyond the words to what that person really wants. And sometimes it's quite different in the words they use versus what they're doing online. So it's pretty exciting. I love it.
And you've spent so much time in the spiritual arena with all of these teachers. And Karen Polino is saying hi. Hi,
Karen. I love Karen. Her angel readings are amazing.
Oh. Okay, Karen, I need an angel reading. One, write me in your book somewhere. Okay, so one of the reasons that I wanted you to come on and talk with me is because one of the things that I find so fascinating about you is that not only are you in the business end of the spiritual business, but you're also in it yourself. I mean, you have a really strong practice, a manifesting practice, a meditation practice, doing ceremonies and all of these things that enhance your life. So you're not just in it in the business, you're in it as this is your life. This is your walking the talk, in other words.
Yeah.
So I know what's on everybody's mind right now is, well, I don't know, but I'm imagining what's on everybody's mind is that here we are walking into a new year and it looks the same, but it's not the same. So I wanted to talk a little bit about like how you're stepping into this new year, like what kind of processes and ceremonies or things that you're doing. And I'd like to share what I've been doing, but I really want to hear what you're doing because you're like so creative, Kelly.
Well, yes, I do love creative endeavors, but I think I have a very practical way of diving into what I want to create in the following year or the upcoming year. And it starts really with a recap of the year that I just went through, because I kind of want to go back and see what worked really well. Like, what was I really proud of, or what wins can I celebrate? What happened that I was like, yes, or I stepped up in some way that I was unexpected to show up. And then I go back and look at the things that maybe didn't go so well. Where could I have done something better or handled a situation better? Is there some growth lessons in there that I can pull out? That's really my first step, because I want to know, it's so easy to kind of, when we think about what we want to bring about in the new year, we just kind of dismiss everything that we've learned and gained from the year prior. And this past year gave us a lot to hold on to, because we had a lot of changes that really affected our lives in one way or another. So I think that this year was even more important for me to go back and go, okay, how did you do this year? Like, what were some of the things you were proud of? What went well? What could you do better? That kind of thing. And then my next step is really, okay, from that part, is there anything that I need to release? Because typically there might have been situations, or even with myself, like maybe how I handled myself or someone else. And I don't want to carry that with me into the new year, because it might affect what I decide I can manifest in the next year or bring about or work towards. So I'll do like a quick release exercise that I do. And it's just basically, I just write down anything that I'm holding on to or want to let go of, or any resistance, any fears, or any like negativity, let's just say. And I just write it all down as honestly as I can. I mean, I tell the truth. I'm harsh and honest with myself, like, oh gosh, but not beating myself up, but just really being honest about where I fell short in my own mind and with other people. And then I burn it. I say, okay, bye-bye now. I'm done. I learned what I needed to learn, and I'm going to work on those things that I can do better. And then I do a reset almost. I really think about what it is that I want to experience in the new year that maybe I wasn't able to experience in the previous year, or there's something maybe that I really wish for that I want to bring about, and I'll just start writing. And I call it a brain dump because this, and a lot of your listeners probably know this, that if you're creative, you're not in a short supply of ideas. Ideas come to you like candy. It's like they're here all the time.
I know.
Right? So, and that's great. I love that. And I don't want to lose that ability to always be creative thinking and coming up with new ideas. But I also don't want to overwhelm my mind and think, oh, I have these 20 things I can do, and then I won't do anything because I'll basically be overwhelmed. So I do a brain dump of everything I want to do, everything I want to experience, anything that I really want to have this year. And then I go back, read the list again, and then circle like 3 to 5 that I feel like, yes, that feels good. That feels right for this year, or it fits with something that I'm trying to do in that year. And then I'll
put this down. I got to tell you, I love this because I don't do that. I do mine a little bit differently, but I like.
Okay.
So
yeah.
I hope you guys are taking notes because this is really, you're getting like high level stuff here.
Maybe we can message them a little checklist after or something.
And if any of you have questions as we're going along here, or anybody else want to share, make sure you put your comments in the comment area because I can read that. Okay, so you write down everything you want to experience this year, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And it's really, I would recommend, just because I know if you're creative, it really helps with just dumping everything. Like, even if it seems so beyond where you are now, it doesn't matter. Like, really just get it all out. Like, because it's kind of like a fleshing of all the stuff that's inside of you, that you can go back, and you can always add more to your, list of what you want later after you've achieved some of the things that you already set out to do. So it's a great way to look back and reflect too.
But that's fabulous. I mean, that's just fabulous because then you like get everything out. Because Kelly, I know you, and I know that you've got 10,000 amazing ideas. Like, whenever we've been in meetings with Kelly, she's just like, well, we could do this and we can do this and then we can do that. And we can do this. And it's like so hard to keep up with her. It's true though. And I kind of get this. I kind of get that energy. I mean, you go much faster than I do, but I do get that energy too, where I get so many ideas. And so then what do you do? So once you do this brain dump, this creative, let's call it something, this creative.
I literally call it a brain dump. I have a worksheet that says brain dump, and it's just, I dump.
There you go, everybody. So it's the brain dump. All right. And then what do you do with it?
And then I go back and I look at the list and I kind of just feel into my body, what do I really want, and which resonates most with me, and which do I think are really practical? Because I do think that we like to think that what we want should be mystical and mysterious and all this other stuff, but it really doesn't have to be. I mean, there are things that are practical that I want to get done that are just as important as sort of the magical things that I want to do. So I'll choose 3 to 5. I don't do more than 5 because that's a lot to focus on with this, within a 6 or 12-month period, because they all take effort. So I'll just pull those top 3 to 5. And then the next thing I do, this is just something I do for myself because maybe other people can relate, but there have been times where I'll choose a goal and I'll be excited about it. And then I just resist working towards it. Like, everything about it. Like, the energy of it just isn't right. I don't feel right. And then I think about it a little bit more and I realize it's really not my dream. It's just something I think I should do or ought to do, or someone thinks I should do, or something like that. So I really, really set out, when I look at those goals, those top 3 to 5 goals, I say to myself, okay, what value does this align with? Where does it match one of my values? Because I feel like if my value is tied to it, it's going to have more meaning and purpose for me. And then I'll be better able to work towards it. And then I'll feel the motivation to keep working towards it, especially when I hit obstacles, because there are always obstacles, right? So for me personally, I have 3 core values that I operate from. So it's pretty easy for me to see which ones those align with, but it doesn't matter. As long as you know what your values are, what things are important to you, it's super easy to align that to the goal. And if you can't, then it's a question to ask yourself, is this really my dream or is this someone else's dream? And then that can help you kind of whittle down that list too. Yeah.
And you said, I love when you said, yes, you'll get these great ideas. And I don't know if you ever remember me calling me that my stoned moment. because I've done that too. And I've come to meetings and I've said, I've got the best idea ever. And, I used to get high when I was a kid, right? We were
Love
all
it.
smoking pot and stuff. And so, and you'd come up with these brilliant ideas that,
Yes.
that you thought were amazing. And then, of course, when you were no longer stoned, you thought, what were you thinking, right? I have those same moments without the drugs now.
Yeah, you know what? I don't know if your audience knows this about you, but Liz is amazing when it comes to creating ideas, and she's so playful and just free. Like there's such a freedom about Liz. Like she's not really judging what people think about it or anything. She's like, I just want to do this. This is going to be a blast, and it'll be this amazing, phenomenal idea that we're like, that's brilliant. We love it.
Yeah. But then how do we execute it? And that's been a lot of the things. Like I've had these massive ideas for years now, and it's just how do we put it down? So I love your way of taking the 3 core values. And I love that you mentioned core values, because this is something I've actually heard many times. Many teachers say this is part of my core value, my core competency, whatever. So let's take a step back and talk about core values, because I don't really know what mine are. I don't think I know. I don't really know, understand, or maybe I don't understand the concept of core values. I don't know. How about you guys? Have you ever thought about what your core values are and what so you lead your life by that? And is it different for personal life than it is for business? Do you have different? So let's touch on that just for a second.
Yeah, I would love to know.
Because Kelly's talking.
I would love to know I'd love to know what, if people do feel like they have a sense of their values, and if they're getting stuck there, easy ways to figure those out.
Yeah. Number 1 is integrity for me.
See, you do know your values. I was just going to say, you're operating in them every day. You may not have attached a name to them, but you do have your core values.
Integrity and loyalty. Janice knows that one. Loyalty. Yeah.
And I would say creativity, because I feel like you're really passionate about creating things, all kinds of things. Does that resonate for you? It seems like, it always feels that way when I'm in your presence. There's a lot of creative sparks happening all the time.
It's hard to focus. Janice always tells me, "Oh, squirrel went by. There goes Liz." Off on another tangent. How many meetings have we been in? We're focusing on one thing, and then all of a sudden we're off and running. And poor Janice and just trying to get us focused. No, ladies, come back here.
Well, leaders are often visionaries, and they need people like Janice who can kind of manage those projects and get those things done. You're two of probably a perfect balance, really. So.
She reminds me a lot of my mom. I tell her that all the time, of Ariel. She has that sensitivity. Girls, come back here. What are you doing? Come on, herd of kittens, right? Wow, that's so. Then once you have your ideas of where, so you do your process as you kick off the new year, and then you've got your main ideas of where you want to go. Then do you do something after that?
I do. I choose a word or a phrase for the year that helps me keep reminded of what those goals are and what I'm going to need to do to step into those goals. Because I try to do stretch goals that are pretty out of my comfort zone, but not too far out where I won't make progress, but enough where I'm uncomfortable. And I usually attach some kind of word or meaning to that. So for this year, it's all in. That's my big one. Because this year, I am writing that book, and I am doing other things that I've resisted, probably because I wasn't ready realistically, and also because I knew what it was going to mean, and I maybe wasn't ready for that piece either. So now I'm like, nope, I'm going all in. This is my life. I'm going to go all in. I'm going to turn 50 tomorrow. I have, I feel like there's a little.
She's turning 50 tomorrow.
I feel like there's a time crunch now. I'm like, oh, I got to get this done. There's things I want to finish. So that's what I do. So I pick the word, and that's the word or phrase that I carry with me all year long. And it's really fascinating if you've ever done this or tried this. When you go back at the end of the year, it's like, whoa. For instance, my word for last year for 2020 was create. I created 5 different products in 2020. I had never created a tangible product. So the create word worked, but I held that in my head in the entire year. So.
Wow. Yes, because you created a lot at
Yeah.
CYL. I mean, you created a ton. So, and then you probably had other people you were working with and creating and doing and yourself.
Yep.
Wow. Okay, so we've got some comments here. This is so great. So Tina said, so good to be, can you see the screen also? Okay, so Tina says, so good to know and be aware of your core values when making decisions of what to move forward with. I love that. Yes. Kim Petrus. I had a stoned idea for creating affordable housing, but suffered two huge losses, and maybe it's not my assignment in this lifetime. Oh, you know what, Kim? I love that. I had an idea, it's one of these big grand ideas that I wanted to buy a huge dormitory, or build a huge dorm and create a safe space for abused children. And all the values of the space was going to be all teachings of that we know and love, like Wayne and Deepak and you and everybody, to bring these. Anyway, so that was one of my stoned moments too, Kim. Okay.
And I would say to Kim, I apologize for your huge losses first. I'm sorry for that. But maybe just a different way to look at it, maybe those losses made it even more of a reason for you to maybe pursue that idea.
Exactly. And let me know when you do, because
Yes.
that's a hot button for a lot of us in creating affordable housing and safe places for families and children, especially.
Absolutely.
And Billy says integrity and honesty. Kim needs a Janice. She's not for rent. Thank you very much. Maybe she is. I don't know. I don't want to speak for her. Steve shared, it's not something I've thought about, but I do try to treat people with respect, but it's not easy sometimes. I know, especially what's going on in the world right now. Oh, so Karen is also a big on a word for the year. I've never done that. So how do you get your word for the year? Like, how does that inspire you? Like, what kind of process do you do to get your word of the year?
Wow, it's not even really a process, I don't think. It's just something that it's weird. It just kind of comes about. Like when I read those top goals of what I really want to achieve and think about the experiences that achieving those goals will bring me, the word just kind of enters. Or someone might say a word and I'll be like, yes, that's it. Mm-hmm. I don't know. As a writer, I love words. So words hold a lot of power and meaning for me. But you could easily do a vision board or something like that. You don't have to use a word if that doesn't resonate, for sure. But yeah, I just think whatever feels right and matches the energy of those goals, or what it's going to require for you to reach those goals, is really important, because it's kind of like an anchor. You're anchored to those goals.
How about fearless?
Fearless is beautiful.
Or courage?
Strength, stretch.
Yeah, fearless feels good for me. Okay.
Oh, I like that.
That could be my word this year.
Love it. And Bill made a comment. I think it was a really good comment. Core values should remain the same, but goals shift and change. Sometimes we can change so drastically our goals no longer fit our purpose, but consistent core values can always help us find the new path. That's beautiful, Bill, and I agree with you 100%. Our core values pretty much are the same, and we probably had them for quite some time. But our goals do shift. And as we evolve and we grow, the things that we want change.
I've just never been so structured about it. I've never and I've heard, like when Denise Lynn and I have conversations, she says, well, my core values are, X, Y, and Z. And I'm like, what are my core values? So I've never defined it, but I guess what you're sharing is really true. But goals can shift and change, but the core value of who we are and how we walk through the world remains the same. That's beautiful. That's
Very
beautiful.
true. And a lot of people think the values have to be like these, what are they called? The virtues, but my top value is efficiency. I mean, that's quite boring, but it really drives everything in my life. It's really important that I not waste time. So they don't have to be these, virtue like kind of statements. They could really be more practical things,
Wow.
Yeah.
I like that. I'm going to work on that. I'm going to say, okay, Liz, where's your list of your core values?
And Karen mentioned Inspire. She saw Inspire as one of your core values, which I would agree with that too. I thought that felt right when I read that.
Is that a core value, inspire?
Mm-hmm. That's important for you. It means something to inspire other people.
And it means something for me to bring people together.
Mm.
This thing about connecting people. I love connecting people.
So like connection, community, those kinds of things are important.
So yeah, totally important.
Yes.
Oh, Bill, that's beautiful. I try my best to hold to those core values as I reinvent who I am and what I want to achieve in my life. Yeah, that's beautiful. Okay, so I'm going to share what Jeff and I did.
Yes.
So here's what Jeff and I did this year. Okay, wait a second. The comments come in because we've on a delay, so they come in a little bit later. So Steve shared, I suppose by defining core values, it would be something you can come back to and hold yourself accountable to. Oh, yes. We have such wisdom in this community.
You do. These comments are amazing.
Something I feel like we're all teachers, and we're all just teachers for each other.
Yes.
You know, we all have something to contribute. I believe that.
Yep.
Janice shared my word, Janice Peze Withers. My word for 2019 were my words for 2019 were slow down. 2020 made it happen. A year late, but it happened. That's okay. So slow down because you were forced to slow down.
Yeah.
Wow. I like that. We're sort of almost forced into the situations that we're looking to achieve, those goals that we're looking to achieve. So this year was different for Jeff and I when we stepped into the new year. I had a emotionally hard end of this year. Mm-hmm. This was meaning that I really got caught up in, holy shit, I'm a live event company and we haven't been able to do live events, and how am I moving everything to online, and are people going to like this? Are we still going to have the same experience? How are we going to bring the community together? So I guess that is one of my core values, to make it good for people to come, to feel connected, to feel like, we're really engaged with one another. Yeah. And so at the end of the year, I was just going down that slippery slope, that staircase of, oh shit, what am I going to do? How am I going to keep this moving forward financially? Yada, 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 yada. So before the end of the year, before the first, I said to Jeff, come on, we need to do ceremony. We need to clear this energy out and bring in the new, because of course there's going to be new energy stepping into 2021. Of course, there's always difference. I don't know why, but this year felt important more than any other year. So we have, I'm a real crystal nut, by the way. Okay, I won't say that now because I'm really digressing. That's like squirrel. Okay, so Jeff loves crystals. I love crystals. We love the energy of crystals. As a matter of fact, we've named our home. It's called LJPCO. LJPCO. So what that is Liz, Jeff, and Puck's Crystal Oasis.
Love it.
We did a whole house naming ceremony in the house, and that was, of course, when Puck was here physically. He's still here with us energetically. So we have crystals that sit by our bedside. We have 2 really beautiful amethyst crystals, and then we've got a massive amethyst crystal in the living room, and we've got quartz all over, and we've just got, sitting on my desk. I have crystals around me all the time. I've got this one, and then I've got this one, and then I've got another quartz. So I've got crystals around me. And I've just always loved the energy of crystals. So we took our crystals outside, the ones that we could carry, and we put them out in the moon, and we gave them a moon bath because it was a really, really big full moon. And then we got paper and pen. I brought out my drum and my flute, my Native American flute, and turkey feather. And we wrote down, and we sat around. We have a fire pit outside. So I recommend, if you're going to do this, make sure and do this outside or in a safe place, like a coffee can or something, because we're going to be burning things here. And it's absolutely appropriate to do this at any time, because we're still in the energy of the new year. This month, all month long, we're still in that energy and that vibration. And so what we did is that we sat down, and very similar to what you did, Kelly, is that we wrote down everything that we're ready to release. So, and what I noticed this year, it was more emotional things that I was ready to release. And I don't want to share that. Jeff and I didn't even share this with each other, and we share everything with each other, but we decided to keep this sacred, We didn't share it with each other. And we wrote exactly what we were ready to release, like what didn't serve us throughout this last year, the thoughts and the feelings and the actions that didn't serve us through this past year. So we wrote that down. And then I always like to create my own prayers or my own incantations, if you will, and manifestation mantras. But this one in particular was, proclaiming to the powers that be. So for me, it's God, it's the universe, it's my angels, it's calling in my mom, it's calling in any of the archangels that walk in the light that are here to assist us, Mother Earth, Grandfather Sky. Everybody we're calling in, okay? Just to cover my bases.
Love it.
And it's not natural for me to call in Jesus, only because I've got a Jewish background. I'm Jewish. But I know a lot of people who call in Jesus and Mother Mary and all of those things. And I do on occasion as well. So at any rate, so I call them in and I say, okay, this is what I'm very serious about releasing this year. This is where I'm going this year. This is what I'm prepared to. And with your support and with your guidance, we are co-creating in letting this go. So I no longer walk through the muck and mire of these kinds of energies any longer. And so I do put that and we both put that in the fire. Then comes the second part. And this was something we just created very spontaneously.
Love it.
So, I didn't bring sage out because I just didn't want to mess with sage. So we did the turkey feather. We cleansed each other with the turkey feather and then cleansed each other with the drum, cleansed our energy, allowed all the energy that didn't serve us to drop into Mother Earth for her to neutralize the energy that, any energy that's coming through her. I always say a prayer to Mother Earth to neutralize that energy. And so we did that, did the feather, did the drum, and then we wrote down everything we were ready to step into. Everything that we were ready to step into. And what this does is that it really assists in bringing in the feeling of, it allows your spirit, your soul, everything to feel, to be outside of our human being selves and to feel, what does this new energy feel like? What does this new creativity place that we're stepping into for 2021 feel like? And so in that space, we were able to write what we were, boom, ready for. I
love it.
Well, it's very similar to what you were doing. And so again, we do another incantation, do another prayer and saying, this is what I'm ready for with your guidance, co-creating this together, universe. I'm going to also step into taking action to make these things to happen, because I can't just put something out to the universe and to God and do the prayer without myself taking responsibility for what I'm looking to make changes in, for what action. So we've got the law of attraction, but I call it the law of action. There must be something out there called law of action. Anyway, that's what I call it. So law of action. So we went ahead and put that into the fireplace to allow that to burn, but it was a different energy that I brought in as that was burning, that we both brought in, and we said the prayer together. Then I like bringing music into the place, and I'm not great on my flute. I'm not great on it, but the things I know, I just brought that music in. So if you're doing this at home, you can bring in, Chris Volker's music or Karen Drucker's music or Barry Goldstein's music or whatever it is that makes your heart sing, because music is a universal language, right? And so that's why I wanted to bring the music in. So I just played my flute. It was really quiet in the desert because we live out in the desert, and there's the Native American flute. It was very cool. And then you take your crystals, you bring them inside, and we actually took a very, very, very soft toothbrush, because we have crevices in our amethyst. Scrub those up. I have a crystal that I meditate with that I hold in my hand that used to be my mom's. Scrub that up, put it in a sink with a couple of essential oils like frankincense, let it sit there, patted them off, dried it. Woohoo! We're ready for the new energy of the new year.
God, that is beautiful. There should be a live event for that. In one of the comments, it was interesting because they said it's even more powerful doing it as a couple or with someone else, which I think that's probably true.
Yeah, and we didn't share it with each other. We didn't, and this was one of the first times where we did something, and we do something similar to this every year. But I do remember last year stepping into 2020, and I had a lousy start to it. And so I'm ready for this new energy. I'm ready for this vibrant new energy. We know there's a lot of shit going on in the world still, right? We get that. We don't need to turn the news on. We don't need to see to know that. We know there's stuff going on there. And that doesn't mean that that's what's happening in our lives. Meaning that you can still create your own little crystal oasis or your own oasis just within and in the energy that you choose to bring into your world.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I love that. Yep. And then that energy spews out everywhere else, which is so nice because it's such a positive, uplifting energy, which we all need.
Exactly. And I would love to hear from any of you that are out there. What did you do? Like what worked for you this year? And if you haven't done anything, I highly encourage you take some of what Kelly did, take some of what we, Jeff and I did, and do something to mark the end of the energy from 2020 and step into and feel into this new place of being for 2021. Because you will. And I stepped into a tremendous place when I was meditating this morning, tremendous place of gratitude.
Yeah.
Tremendous place of gratitude, for just presence, just here, for the beingness of the world right now. And also stepping into Mother Nature. When I take, we're at a place in Arizona again where we can start hiking. And when I go out in Mother Nature, and I know you spend a lot of time in Mother Nature, outside, and just seeing how she is still thriving and blooming and blossoming, and the earth and Mother Earth is still thriving in spite of anything else that appears to be reality.
Absolutely. That's the healing part of nature. It's always there. It's always making do with whatever it needs to survive and live and thrive. That's we could all learn something from that. How can we make what we have useful, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Oh, we've got some comments. Jared, I love to use fire ceremony to move energy. I did one open to the public on the solstice, but I'm planning to do a solar fire in the next few days to set the tone for my 2021. Excellent. Excellent. Kim says, paint, create, and sing my goals and intentions. Oh, that's fabulous.
That is.
I think we need to come together and bring pieces of what we do. Just have a whole creation where we all come together and bring our pieces of ceremonies and stepping into the new year. Earth is doing better after pandemic. Yes. Tammy said, I also did a burning ceremony. I'll do a vision this weekend. Excellent. Excellent. Karen, Mother Nature had been my healer and guide this year. Mother Nature has no idea there's a pandemic. Exactly, Karen.
Agreed.
Yeah, and I'd love to know what the angels. Oh, Karen, we have to have you pop in here with me sometime. I'd love to know what the angels and for those of you who don't know Karen Polino, I can't say her last name. Correa. Paulino Correa is an angel communicator and amongst one of the many gifts and talents she has. And I'd love to know what the angels are sharing about what's going on right now and the new energy coming in, the new vibrant energy. Because I feel it. Don't you feel it, Kelly?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I did want to ask you though, because you and I have had some fun conversations about, manifesting and creating and all those good things. And I was really interested when you said that, manifesting isn't a word that you prefer. Like to you, it's more of a co-creation. And I took a lot from what you said when we had that conversation. And I thought it might be nice to share some of what you said in that conversation about what it means to you when people say manifest and how you use that term.
Yeah. So, and this is probably I'm sure just about me. I know it's just about me.
No, I think it resonated. I'm thinking maybe other people might have that same resistance to that word or think a certain thing about that word. And the way you described it, how you use it, I thought was fascinating.
Well, so what Kelly's sharing is that I have a hard time with the word I manifested. Look, when I hear people say, look what I manifested, or look what I manifested this year. Like I manifested this, hey, I manifested this, and I've always had such a hard time with that. And I'm not going to judge it. It just is. And so I've never been one to step in and say, I've manifested something, because it just doesn't resonate for me as truth. Because I didn't just manifest something. I don't do anything alone. I don't do anything alone. Meaning that I always have a team working with me. And I'm not talking only about you or Janice or April or Christy or any of our physical team, right? It's a co-creation. Mishka Productions is a co-creation. Mishka Productions is a co-creation of spirit, of God, of my angels, of my soul's path, of, yes, I did the physical, I did the action, absolutely. But it was not an inspiration that just I had on my own.
Yeah.
So even when I look at the way I still represent myself, I don't ever represent myself as the founder of Mishka Productions. You'll always see me write, yes, I'm the president or whatever, the big title is that. President of what? I'm the co-founder. I'm the co-creator. I'm the co-founder. Of course, thinking about Ariel, but also thinking about this was not something I founded on my own. This was a co-creation. Because in me saying I'm co-creating this, it honors, and this is just a Liz thing, it honors all of the beings, the people not only in the physical, the Janice, the Tanya, the you, the Christy, the April, everybody, Diane, it honors not just the physical, but it honors the creation of spirit, of God, of the universe, of my angels, of my mom, of Mishka.
Yeah. And that's why it's so powerful, I think, when you said it then and even re-saying it now. It's so funny because when I write something that's really good, I know it's not me. I know it's coming from something beyond me. Because it's not just me sitting there with, writing and it's just, oh, this is what it is. No, it's definitely a co-creative effort for sure. Yeah. And I love that you honored that instead of just going along with the conversation.
But now having said this, that I do have a manifesting practice and or a co-creation practice. But I've also learned from having conversations with you that I'm feeling safer with the words manifesting. I don't feel safe in saying I manifested this. It just feels very egotistical to me. I don't know why. Okay, I said it.
Yeah. I totally understand that. I do.
No, we did not manifest this. And yes, you did the hard work, and yes, you allowed it to work through you. I get all of that. But I also get that you're co-manifesting. I co-manifested this. There we go.
There you go. That's a nice compromise there, isn't it? And more accurate. It just is, because we all know the word manifest always kind of conjures up this like mysterious or mystical or magical kind of thing. And it's actually, we do it every day, whether we know we're doing it or not. It's just, are we being intentional about what we want to bring in and bringing into our lives, or are we just haphazardly, bringing in things we don't want?
Well, you and I have, again, talked about a lot of, we've had many conversations about this, and I love the way you've kind of softened the edges for me with that, because you do have a manifestation practice. I know that you do, and a process that you do when you're ready to bring something into your life. But I also in speaking with you, I've never felt that it comes from an ego place, because you bring in all of the other energies into it, and knowing that this is a partnership.
Absolutely.
Again, not just with the physical, but with spirit, with God, with the universe, with angels, whatever else you ascribe to. This is a partnership.
Absolutely.
This is an agreement.
Right. 100%. Yep.
And so on that note, I'm going to tease it. Can I tease it?
Okay.
La, 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 la. That's my la, 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 la. All right. So, throughout our many conversations together, Kelly and I have decided to put a program together that will be released the end of January. So we're teasing it right now. We're not going to tell you what it is, but I can tell you it's going to be fantastic. It's going to be easy to access. It's going to be affordable. Okay. Very, very.
Yes.
Because we know what's going on right now. And
Fun.
There we go. Fun. So we do have something that we've put together. I don't think we're ready to announce it yet because we're still in the process, but we'll let you know as it gets closer to being released. It's the first time I've ever done anything like this. So I'm pretty excited about it.
I am super excited about it. Yes. It's going to be a lot of fun.
So here we go. I like this, what Steve has said. When talking about co-creation and manifesting, are you referring to the law of attraction and asking the universe for something, or are you meaning that you are working towards an end goal, i.e. in the material world and working towards a solution? And then Steve said, you have just half answered the question. So are we talking about something material? I understand law of attraction. As a matter of fact, oh my God, I should have told you this, and I guess I don't have a minute to go run and grab it. I just bought the first book that was ever published in 1899 by Prentice Mulford. And his book is called Thoughts Are Things. And I've just started to read it. It's in Old English, so it's not the easiest to read. But in talking about law of attraction, we think that there are certain teachers out there that have the corner on law of attraction or The Secret or, other people that teach it. And this goes back like hundreds of years. And I wanted to know what it was from the beginning, which is why I just bought the book. And I just got it the other day. Because I believe that there are some elements of law of attraction, I guess, in what I do. And I would say for Kelly as well.
Yep.
But for me, there's also additions to it. So it's not just when I'm looking to co-create something, it's not just something in the material world. Oftentimes it is something to do with me emotionally or spiritually. So it goes for me on all levels, emotionally, spiritually, physically, financially, energetically, on all levels. It doesn't have to be just a material thing. And when we talk about manifesting or co-creating, people often think, oh, it's all about money. That's what no. Not for me, it isn't. Not for me, it isn't.
But also I'd like to add to his point, because he reminded me of a saying that John Assaraf used to say all the time that I've stuck with me for years. Hopium is not a strategy. So while you can put your wishes out to the world, you can say, universe, bring me blah, blah, blah. Ain't nothing going to happen until you move and take action towards it. It requires motion. You have to be in motion. It doesn't have to be the perfect motion. You just have to be in motion, right? And I think the money thing is always interesting, or the material things are interesting, because I think if people attached more to the experiences or the feelings they wanted, because they're all generally the same, what we want to experience: love, peace, joy, happiness. We just want to feel safe, really, and loved and accepted. But we typically, when you hear the word manifesting and law of attraction and universe, everybody thinks it's the house, it's the perfect partner, it's the $100,000, it's the, kind of these things that really don't have meaning in and of themselves. It's only the meaning you attribute to them. So that's why whenever I'm telling myself or walking through my own what I want to manifest, it rarely is attached to a material outcome. Rarely.
I love that you said that, because it usually has. And Steve, this is interesting what you've asked, because it usually, yes, there might be, as Kelly shared, a material objective. Like when I was looking to create a healthy relationship in my life, a healthy life partner relationship, it wasn't so much about the end goal of the partnership, because it had to do with me and what was blocking me. So yes, that there was this end goal, but then again, it was turned inward to what was stopping me from joy, what was stopping me from allowing a healthy partner to come into my life. And why was I choosing unhealthy partners partners that weren't a fit for me? Now I can say unhealthy because they were. Sorry, anyone that was involved with me, if you're listening. Of course, if you were unhealthy, then I was unhealthy too. Okay, so there. I balance us out there. All right, so any questions or anything you guys want to ask Kelly or myself, just go ahead and put that in the comments. And I'm going to, there's a really nice one that Bill wrote. And this was a while ago when we were talking about Mother Earth. He wrote, the earth energies need human contact, need group energetics. The lack of energy movement of the collective is creating stagnation within the matrix. I've heard many people say the virus is helping the earth. I would disagree. The earth is Gaia, and love, human connection is a vital aspect of the soul of Mother Earth. And I hear what you're saying on that, Bill. And I also know that I don't think Mother Earth necessarily discerns, like if I'm going out and doing healing work in Mother Earth outside, I think she's just as appreciative. Although, yes, I do want to come together collectively in a community again, because we've got to go to Scamania again. We have to go to Scamania again. All right, everyone. This has been really fun, Kelly.
Yes, it has been fun. And thanks for everybody who chimed in and joined the conversation. This is great. It was great to read your comments and hear more about what you're doing.
And how do you think she did for her first time ever? She was a virgin Facebook Live person. I think she did great. 10 stars for Kelly. 20.
Thank you. Maybe just talk slower. I have to keep saying that to myself. Talk slower.
Oh, yeah, because when Kelly gets in creative mode, she kind of talks like this. You really can't understand what she's saying. And I'm like, coffee. Did you have a lot of coffee this morning? What's going on?
No more coffee. I'll cut off the coffee like 3 hours before I go live. Maybe that's the trick.
Exactly.
Oh, thank you, Deborah.
Yay! This was such a good conversation. And stay tuned, everyone. We will let you know towards the end of the month what Kelly and I are doing. And just a little bit of a heads up, tomorrow, I'm so excited. Now I can share. Tomorrow, I'm doing a live right here on Facebook Live crystal auction. Crystals with gem specialist Tara Jack. Oh. She has some gorgeous crystals. She's coming over to my house with them. She's got over 50 to 60 crystals we're going to be auctioning off. I cannot wait. And I have a feeling I'm going to end up buying all of them. So this is such a weird time, but it's at 1:22 Pacific time tomorrow, Wednesday, on all of the stations you see me live on right now. And then, so that's 2:22 Arizona time. 1:22 Pacific time. And so 1, 2, 3, 4:22. I had to use my fingers. Eastern time. Tomorrow, yeah.
That's your birthday. Nice, Deborah. Happy birthday.
Yes.
I'm like happy too.
Capricorn. Oh, that's right. Tomorrow is Kelly's birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birtle daddle doodle udle doodle.
Oh, 1:22. I apologize, Deborah.
Number, yeah. That's great. All right. So tomorrow, come join us. I'll be Facebook Live with Tara on all the Celebrate Your Life platforms, my personal page, and wherever you're seeing me right now, you can see me tomorrow as well. All right, everybody. Thank you for being here. Mwah! Okay. Kelly, stay right there.